Hello again, this is Maurice Brown coming back to try to make part two of my UFO alien experiences. And I hope my phone works. I'm going to try this again. It keeps messing up on me now. But was talking about premonitions and things that had happened. And I was learning to recognize those things in Phoenix. And so here I was in Phoenix it was around 98, 99 when I was really getting a lot of this happening, the premonitions and like remote viewing or whatever, learning things esoterically, I guess you could call it. So this friend of mine who I met at MUFON that I was talking about, he came by and saw something that I drew of a component in this UFO anti-gravity stuff that I was recovering. Uh, and so I was drawing things out, and he saw this thing and had me come outside to look. He showed me in his trunk, he pulled out this crystal after he dug through there and finally found it, and it was exactly what I was drawing. Another time he came back and saw what I was drawing in the trailer there and brought me to his apartment, and he had a balsa wood model exactly of what I was drawing on my table in the trailer, in the travel trailer. So this kind of stuff was happening regularly. Then I was watching on the Learning Channel on cable in Phoenix, in '99, and they were describing this thing that they showed. I saw on the screen they showed MIT, and they were talking about Andrews Air Force Base and different places, different people that were involved with showing this display of an ability that they called lightcraft, and they were showing. It was like they took like kind of like an aluminum disc with a cone in the middle, highly polished mirror polished inside to where they would shoot a laser up in there, and they would get it to thrust, go to like 300 or 400 whatever feet in the air. You can find lightcraft on the internet. That's not what I'm talking about, but this thing that they were showing really excited me because I'm realizing the central part of the thing that I thought I was doodling as UFO technology was started by a laser beam. And at that time, I really didn't even know how to spell laser, much less make one. And so it was really exciting to me because I was realizing that a laser would do what I was designing for it to do inside of that environment. And so that's just one beginning part of a component in this design. And so I contacted them. I contacted MIT and the people that were showing it. Eventually, they directed me to, I think it was Andrews Air Force Base. I had letters uh, that I got from them because we were in communication. I was trying to explain to them that you're not supposed to make thrust, you're supposed to make a generator for anti-gravity. And I didn't want to tell them a whole lot of stuff about it because like the good book says, not supposed to muzzle the ox that treads the mill. Labor is worthy of his hire, stuff like that. So, it's like I shouldn't just give this stuff away. And I'm cautious really of what to do with it because I don't know what could happen with it. Didn't want to become like a modern Oppenheimer or whatever and cause disaster in the world. So I was really cautious. But they eventually stopped communicating with me when I said in a letter I was just guessing that maybe I knew some of this stuff because of my experiences with UFOs. And they just shut off information with me and set up a trailer right across from ours, uh, crossing over several trailer lots with all this surveillance on their roof and trying to wonder out who I was and what I was doing. But anyhow, that's irrelevant. There was all this stuff that I'd come up with and had designed and shown in 98, 99. And it was just amazing. So anyhow, I had drawn these things out. Let me see if I can find out uh, what I was going to talk about from these notes. I had. It's really amazing if you get dreams, notions, and stuff like that. Don't ignore it. You should take notes of it. If someone's trying to show us things, we're supposed to be learning things and get involved in things like that. And so anyhow, I have a big pile of notes that I gathered over the years, and I keep multiple copies of them in different places, just, so they don't get lost or taken or misused or whatever. And so I had some things that I wanted to share, just like a couple of examples. Some of these things that were like drawn out. So like if you can see that. That's just one thing of a whole bunch. It's kind of like, there's another thing I could show, like these are just rough graphs, images of things, drawings and whatnot, of different designs of how the technology can be used and stuff. And there's other things, like there's this thing that I saw, a standing wave, where I saw this in a dream, where you could have nodes and antinodes and have lines hooked up to your vocal cords, and you could, there's a lot of different stuff that you could do with that. But I don't want to get into a whole bunch of conversation about how those things work and stuff, but here's just another design picture of how things, some of the, just a little glimpse of some of the stuff that I was drawing out and getting into back in those days, trying to figure out what's what and how it works, and this is just a little dose of it. Anyhow, there was a lot of really strange things that happened in Arizona, but one of the most amazing things to me was the compiling of information through my own personal experiences of how to make UFO type propulsion technology. And I'm sure there's probably dozens or maybe even thousands or an infinite amount of ways. There's dimensions and planets and everything. It's just, I can get into all kinds of theory about that because I've gotten into learning about things after these things started coming to me. It's just very fascinating. Anyhow, I would like to go into, when we moved from Phoenix, there was several spiritual and miracle-like things that happened when it came time to leave from working at Titan, where I had gotten a lot of designs when I was working at Titan, drawn from things that I was seeing and understanding about technology. Excuse me. But anyhow, I quit Titan and I moved to Texas, where I promised my wife, rest in peace, bless her soul, that she wanted to come back to Texas, where she was born from. So we came here, and when we first moved here to Texas, we got a trailer lot in Conroe, Texas, and in fall of Conroe, I get out of, I was driving to school, got a job driving a school bus, and I see this thing in the sky. It's still dark out. I'm loading up my sons into the truck because my wife was in the hospital for a little while, and then she had just got back. But so I had them going to schools near where I was driving, so they could come with me in the morning. And so they were still going with me. We hadn't transferred them back to Conroe schools yet. They were going to the Woodland schools with me at my driving. And so we're loading up in the pickup early in the morning, still dark out, and one of my sons gets in the center of the pickup and says, "Is that a UFO?" And I'm looking out the windshield, I don't see anything. And he goes, "No, over there." The driver's door is still open. I look out, and to the west above treetop view, I see this thing. And it's up in the sky, just gliding along. And I'll show you, I drew a little picture of it here about what it looked like, the shape of it above the treetop view. And because it was like all these little dots were like solid white, like they were portals or propulsion or something, and the rest of it was solid. But when I first saw it, I didn't see that other side. It just looked like this long thing in the sky, and I estimated it was about 8 times the size of a commercial airline, and it was moving slowly and silent, making no noise. and it was like a silverish grayish color. And then as we were looking at it, within like a 3 second period, like 1001, 1002, 1003, during that much time, we watched it as it's gliding along. Well, before it, okay, before this thing I'm talking about to talk about, it tilted so we could see the other side, and that's what I showed. It was revealing that it was a massive V or a crescent. It wasn't just this flat thing. It was obviously what I was showing in this design. It was either a massive V or a crescent. So then, as we're watching it, it took about a 3 second process for it to gradually begin to fade out of view till it just became completely invisible. It just vanished before our eyes. Not instantly, but it took about a three. Excuse me, I'm burping. Had to drink some water, and it disappears. I didn't talk about that for a while. It just kind of, I was kind of leery about that. I didn't know what to think. And then that was in fall of 2000. I'm thinking, what are these things, following me everywhere around the country where I go? What's going on with this stuff? Anyhow, but at that same residence, one day I'm riding home from work on my motorcycle, and I'm coming towards Conroe. I get off the freeway, and I'm on the feeder, the exit to 336, where I normally turn right and go up to 75 into Conroe to our trailer park. Something was communicating with me saying, don't turn, go straight through. So I'm sitting at the light. I'm like, oh, whatever. Then I go straight through the light and go down like the next mile to, now it's all changed with the roads, but it was like one road down there where you turn right so I could come back up 75 the back way, I'd call it. So when I go up the end of the feeder, when I go up to the feeder along I-45, before I turn right, coming the back way, I look up in the sky and I see this bright neon green orb, and I'm like, what? I'm looking at it. It was definitely there. I don't know what it was or what it was doing, but I just credit that maybe that's what communicated with me to go straight, and so I get up to my trailer park, and there was a wreck that had just happened. If I had gone the way I normally did, it very easily could have been me that got hit, because there was a work truck with a huge rack on top. It was over on its side. Everything was everywhere. It had just happened, and I'm like, thank God that that something told me to go that way and not get involved in that wreck. It wasn't, it wouldn't have been good. So that was stuff that happened, and then we moved to a house that we're the property we're at now, and in between Conroe and Montgomery out in Texas, and my sons start having experience. I had both my sons and one of their friends were walking across the dam back here in the community center, and they said all of a sudden at nighttime it just got brighter than the brightness of day, and it just lit up like pure white light everywhere. And one of my sons was describing how even in the woods to the side there was no shadows of the trees. Everything was lit up. And next thing they know, they're at the other side of the dam. And another time, uh, one of my sons was at the community center by the dam, laying on this rail outside by himself, just resting. And he tries to call me on his cell phone because something was happening in the sky above him, and he was really excited. And he couldn't get the phone to work. And finally, he got through, and I pick up my phone at home. He was all excited, saying, something about a UFO or something. And I went flying down there and got him. And he described that there was like these three lights that were above him in the sky, and they were just kind of hovering around, and they were like moving and turning. And this is back, long time ago. No one had these things that they were flying around now. They didn't have that stuff. We moved to this house in 2002, and he saw that, and so there's some strange stuff that's been happening, and weird things that's been going on. And we've had a lot of experiences, and no one can tell me they're not real. Anybody that knows me knows I'm not out of my mind. Um, you know, I don't take hallucinogens or you know take drugs or anything like that. I'm dedicated to living a clean life, and that's the way I've been since I had the near-death out-of-body experience in '82. But anyhow, there's a lot of stuff to share, a lot of things going on, and but I just wanted to share these things with y'all, with people, put the word out, let it be known, and I could just I could go on and on about the technology, um, but I guess I'll just leave it at that because this is already 15 minutes, and I don't, my phone doesn't seem to like this. I hope this works, and y'all have a good time. Keep looking up.